Welcome to council meeting. We have invocation led by Councilman Brian Gardner.
Let us pray. Lord, thank you for bringing us all together here safely tonight. Please guide us in how we lead this town and bring us together so that we might zealously serve you. Thank you, Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have May 28th, June 4th, and the 20th meeting. 28th was the budget work session. Can I get a motion to approve that?
I make a motion that we approve our budget. Is that
May 28th.
the minutes, these are the minutes. I make a motion that we approve the minutes of our May 28th and budget.
Just before that motion's made, I hate to interrupt, but the 28th was Friday. Wasn't that thing on the 20th?
Yes.
We had a meeting on May 28th,
Oh,
June
okay.
4th,
I was
and
looking
June
at the wrong
20th.
day then.
Uh,
I must have been looking at the
What
wrong
happened was
day.
May 20th was left out. It wasn't in our package last time.
But it was the 20th that we
May
had.
28th was a Wednesday.
That was,
28th was a Tuesday.
that was the first meeting we had.
It was the 28th of May.
The 28th of May, we didn't do that one last time.
Yeah.
It was left out, so we're doing it tonight. Okay? Is
Uh,
that all right?
Okay, so I make the motion again. I make a motion that we approve the minutes from our budget approval meetings of May 28th, June 4th, and June
One
20th.
time, one at a time.
Okay, of May 28th, 2019.
I'll second that.
It's been properly motion to second and receive the budget work session for May 28th. All in favor? Let me know by saying aye. Please have the same right, motion carries. The June 4th, regular council meeting.
I'll motion that we approve the minutes of the June 4th regular council meeting.
Second. It's been properly motion to second. We received the, regular, city council meeting June 4th. All in favor? Let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Ladies have the same right, motion carries. Now, our public hearing, for June 20th. Can I get a motion on that?
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of our public hearing on June 20th, 2019.
I'll second.
Okay, on the special meeting. Okay, it's been properly motion and second that we received the, public hearing on June 20th in our special meeting, a meeting following. All in favor? Let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
Ladies have the same right, motion carries. Now can I get approval of our meeting agenda?
I make a motion that we approve our meeting agenda. Amended. Is that, well, I should say, so we need the amended part in there.
Everybody second?
I'll second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve our meeting agenda. All in favor? Let me know by saying aye. Ladies have the same right, motion carries. Okay, now reports of standing committees, Ms. Rob.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. And thank you to everyone who came out for the DDRA's Bringing Downtown Alive concert series last Thursday. We had a great crowd, including lots of families with the addition of our children's games area. The series continues Thursday, July 25th from 7 to 10 p.m. with the Rick Strickland Band performing, the Darlington Cruisers Car Show, vendors, and more. Come enjoy an evening out with the community, sponsored by Pepsi.
Track and all through town. So good publicity for the city for that also. So we appreciate the opportunity to be a part of that. So I say thank you. Great.
Thank you. Ms. Ellen Witt, Office.
Madam Mayor and Council, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. With the upcoming election, I believe it is important to learn as much as you can about the various candidates. One way of doing this is by checking their voting record, which can be done by reviewing the minutes of the past meetings. I am here tonight to ask councils to start following our city ordinance, Chapter 2, Article 3, Section 2-80C. This ordinance states that the vote on every question shall be roll call, and the vote by name shall be recorded in the council minutes by the clerk treasurer. By doing this, it will ensure that the citizens of our town have an accurate record in which to form an educated opinion of the candidates, as well as leaving a factual record for future generations. Thank you.
New business, Mr. Edwards, Darlington Free Medical Clinic.
Madam Mayor, Council, appreciate the opportunity to be here. I'm a Darlington native, moved away about 25 years ago when I pursued a career in higher education, so I'm glad to be back and leading the Free Medical Clinic since January. I want to first recognize Kathy Baxley, who ran the clinic for 15 some odd years, passion, compassion, and left the clinic in great financial shape. One of the things, a little brief history. In 1999, Dr. Joe Matthews approached Olin Whitener about the need to help Darlington County uninsured residents. A group of volunteers put this vision into action in August of 2000. The clinic opened its doors. In 2006, the satellite clinic was opened in Hartsville. And just about 3 weeks ago now, Dr. Alex Cohen, who's been a volunteer provider there for many, many years, saw Darlington's 5,000th patient. When I came back and took the position, one of the first questions I've heard many, many times was, well, with the Affordable Care Act, why do we need a free clinic? Because everybody's got insurance. Well, that's not the case. That's not the case. According to the South Carolina Department of Health and Environmental Control, Darlington County's population of 67,000 in 2018, approximately 60% of those fall within the age group the free clinic sees, 19 to 64. 15.6% of that population, or 6,200, give or take a few, are uninsured. We have 6,200 adults in this county uninsured. They're fast food workers, convenience store clerks, farm workers, small business employees. And of that same 6,200, 18.9% of the adult population delayed medical care in 2018 due to cost. 5,700, give or take, there were 5,700 avoidable emergency room visits, 2,200 avoidable hospitalizations. These are people that can't pay. So what is that doing? It's raising the insurance, the medical costs for those that do have insurance. And those are who the free clinic seeks to take care of. We don't get any government funding. We do it based on grants, churches, individuals, businesses supporting the clinic. 12.9% of the babies born to Darlington County ladies are born prior to 37 weeks of age. 37 weeks. That significantly increases the health concerns. The 10-year infant mortality rate for Darlington County is 10 deaths per 1,000 live births. 42% of the county's population is obese. There are 479 cancer incidents per 100,000 population. The 10-year stroke mortality rate for Darlington County residents is 7.6% higher than the state average. 7.6% higher than the state average. Darlington County is 36 out of the 46 counties in this state for health outcomes which measure length and quality of life. And according to the South Carolina Best Chance Network, Darlington County does have the lowest incidence of breast cancer in the state. So that's a good thing. The other side of that coin is we also have the highest mortality rate for ladies diagnosed with breast cancer because they're not getting screened. These are all stats the Free Medical Clinic can help with, can lower, and that would be a positive for attracting businesses, industries. And so what we've done, and you'll see in your, this flyer right here, is our new material. We had, the main thing, first thing we did was increase the income threshold from 200% above the federal poverty level to 300%. Before I took this job, I was on the state health plan. When I got off of it, I had to buy my own private insurance.
Amen.
For a relatively healthy 57-year-old male, my premium was $725 a month,
Amen.
and that is not a Cadillac plan. If you'll see in there a chart, if you are an individual, the federal poverty level is about $14,000, $14,500. It was, so our income level was 200%, that would make it about $29,000. We've raised that to 300%, so now it's $37,470. If you're at the 200% above the poverty level, and your house payment or rent, a car payment, utilities, groceries, you don't have $725 for health insurance. That's what the clinic serves. So what we did is we raised it to 300%. If you're up to the 200% above the federal poverty level, you still get the free primary care that Joe Matthews and Alex Cohen and so many wonderful providers here in Darlington and Hartsville have done. You get all that free. You get free medicines. You get substantially reduced referrals to McLeod, Carolina Pines, who are both tremendous partners of ours. But now, if you fall above the 200 all the way up to 300%, you still get the free primary care in our clinic. You still get the free medications if we can fill them at our pharmacy. If we have to send you to Walmart or Darlington Family Pharmacy, we're going to ask those people to pay a small copay. If we have to refer you to Carolina Pines, to McLeod, or specialists in one of Hartsville or Florence, we're going to ask you to pay a copay on that. All the other stuff is still free. Another thing we're doing to remove the barriers to becoming our patient, we've partnered with PDRTA. Many of our patients we have to refer to a specialist in Florence. They don't have transportation. Our patients can now get on the bus here with a pass we give them and get to any specialist or McLeod free of charge.
Hallelujah.
Many of our patients need mental counseling. Effective July 31st, PD Mental Health will begin seeing our patients as well as their Darlington clients in our facility on Grove Street. Same with vocational rehab. It used to be the requirement you had to be working, but based on anxiety, depression, or a disability, many folks couldn't work. Prior to April, we would have said, no, you can't be our patient. But now, we're partnering with vocational rehab, PD Mental Health. As long as you're cooperating with our partner agencies, you can still be our patients. And they will be coming to our clinic, so these people don't have to run to Hartsville, to Florence, wherever. They can come there. I'd like to give you a couple of quick stats. In 2018 alone, the clinics in Hartsville and Darlington provided 551 free primary care visits, a value of over $68,000. We provided 891 lab and x-ray referrals, a value of over $134,000. We provided 116 specialist referrals, a value of $26,000 or more. We provided over 3,100 free prescriptions, a value of more than $415,000. Our volunteer physicians provided more than 200 hours, volunteer nurses more than 220 hours, volunteer pharmacists 64 hours, volunteer nutritionists 45 hours, a value of more than $36,000. If you multiply this over the 18 years that the clinics have been in service, that is more than $12 million worth of free medical care to the residents of Darlington County. We have some amazing success stories, and I'll end with one quick one. And I talked about some of the partnerships. The breast cancer, we're now partnering with McLeod Mobile Mammography Unit. We'll be coming to the Darlington Clinic August 29th and the Hartsville Clinic September 16th. There are a few slots left. If you know someone that needs a screening, have them contact our office. And that leads me to a success story. A couple of months ago, a 29-year-old female walked into our clinic complaining about soreness in her breast. That's not a lady that would normally qualify for a mammogram. But she was complaining, and I believe Dr. Tom Dickinson was our doctor that night, and he recognized the problem. It was a Thursday night. He immediately scheduled the appropriate exams the next day, radiological test. What's unusual is the radiologist called us immediately after and said, you need to get this lady back in. We called Dr. Tom. He came and met with that lady on Monday night, an off night for him, an off night for us. And the next day, we had her at the oncologist office in Florence. The next call we got was from the McLeod Foundation. He said, guys, we got this. This lady's not going to have to pay anything. She's going through care right now.
Hallelujah. Thank you.
We need these folks. We want to help. So if you've got another group, a church group, love to come talk to them. We need patients. We want to see these patients. We want to drive down the cost. And perhaps the most exciting thing for us is later this summer, we'll continue to have our wonderful volunteer providers, but later this summer, we will have a full-time provider that will be seeing patients closer to 40 hours a week than the 8 hours a week we currently see patients. Thank you all for your support. I know you've supported us before. Tell folks about us. We're there. Thank you. Take any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for this update, much needed update. It's nice to be informed.
Thank
Thanks so much for what you do. Good job. Park benches, equipment, Councilman Gardner.
So, as the dust clears, I guess, on the few projects that we have, we figured out a couple things we need to add to the properties to make sure they can get all the use we kind of need out of them. Some park benches and some picnic tables. Both the parks, the Terrence Caraway Park and the Hampton Street Park could both use some seating. And so just wanted to bring it to council and see if we can open up some funding so we don't have to piecemeal the project and delay it any further.
And I also think if we're gonna put the benches in those two parks, we need to add some benches also at the pool for the parents to be able to bring their kids to the pool and have some place to sit.
I've got no problem with adding a bench at the pool. I argued for seating out there a couple years ago to council, so I think that would be a great needed improvement.
Mr. Andrews, he has the information.
So you take one and take it down.
Excuse me.
There's plenty that's coming down that way. Councilman Gardner had got with me, and I got some prices together because he asked for them. And I got with Howard, and what I've got included on what you see here is it's the Barn of All Trades, which is the same people that are doing the benches for DDRA. They also can make the picnic table for us, so they'll match. And it's not wooden, it's their metal picnic tables, their metal benches. Now, I did not include the pool on that, Ms. Backus, so we'll have to add on to it. But all I'm doing is giving you the prices of what they gave me. Custom benches are $475 a piece. What we plan is to make them look just like what the DDRA is planning to do with the city seal on them. Make them look good for the parks. Also the picnic tables. You got pictures of that. They're 4x4 foot square with a 12 inch by 48 inch bench on each side. I've also included the lumber to finish the fencing at both parks. That's on there also. Comes to a total of $10,607.39. Now, what you don't see on there is a picnic area, and that is because I have been approached by a men's group in the area that are interested in building that for us. So I didn't want to include that on there at this time because there's a good possibility that they're going to donate their time and money to do that.
Let me ask you something, when we look at the original plan of the park,
Yes, ma'am.
Caraway Park especially, I thought that was already included in there, the picnic area, the
No,
covered area. I don't
Not
remember seeing-
included as far as pricing, no ma'am. Now,
That was
there
not
is,
on the-
no ma'am. No ma'am, that was
I
the,
saw that on, yeah.
that was the concept for the park. Now, I can tell you, we just put a picnic, area in Lamar. That cost us $11,500. It was a 20 by 40. It's done by PD Building Systems out on 151. That was the best price we found. The county just put one in Lamar. So that would be what we could look to spend as far as that goes. And it's a cement floor with a pitched roof, metal carport, basically. It's a picnic area. But there was no price ever gotten for
I
us.
thought we talked about the covered area.
We talked
And
about
that they
it,
were
but there was
coming,
no
that they were
price.
coming to do the covered area. I thought you and I had to come. I thought that
I
was.
said we could do that. Look, any money spent, that amount, I was told I had to come to you to get it.
No, I'm talking about the original plan.
I know what you're talking about, but
That we voted on.
the original
Thought it showed a
plan was
covered
for
area
Virgil
for
Wells.
picnic area.
The original plan was for Virgil Wells Stadium.
That's what I was,
The original plan was for Virgil Wells Stadium. Now, what we're talking about here is Caraway Park. The only thing that we voted on and passed for Caraway Park was the basketball court and the playground area.
I know when we originally talked about it, we were gonna do some of the stuff in-house, doing the fence around the area, and I believe the
The
picnic
walking
area.
track.
And the picnic area that you were talking about. We did decide, I think, to go with a little more substantial metal stuff just for security purposes. And life, I think, happened with the rec department, having so many projects that we've been juggling. So that's kind of why we, came up with this idea to get it past council to speed the process up. Otherwise, we delay getting seating at our two parks that are now open for the inevitable future. So just trying to speed everything up, I believe.
Go right ahead, ladies first.
no, I simply wanted to, we knew, okay, here's our understanding. I do know that the plan for the Virgil Well complex, things changed when we wanted to name it Terrence Caraway. However, once we saw the play area, I still thought it was understood that we would still have fencing and maybe not this kind of benching, but seating,
Yes, ma'am.
something that they could sit on and that's what we're just,
When we,
whatever we did out there.
the only pricing that we have got for
Yeah.
the Terrace Caraway area is the playground and the basketball court. Benches have not been priced out until now. Picnic shelter has not been priced out and still has not been priced out. The concept has always been that we were going to put a walking area, the fence, and a picnic area at Terrence Caraway Park.
Okay, so where we are now is simply because it has not been in the plan. And see, when I spoke with Brian, I was simply thinking we still had it in the plan and that these would be temporary because I know funding for the plan was going to be kind of stretched out. But coming out there myself to both parks,
Yes, ma'am.
we got to have some place for people to sit.
Absolutely.
It's terrible. So whatever we need to do to follow that, all in favor. We might not have to go so elaborate, because this is a lot of money.
Is this,
But it's fine.
is
I
this
mean,
bid for both Caraway and the Hampton
Yes, sir.
Street?
Yes.
So it's, the 8 custom benches would be 4 in each
4 and
level?
4. Yes, sir. 4 and 4, and 2 picnic tables and 2 picnic tables right now.
Okay.
So are these benches gonna be sitting on some kind of slab or something?
We'll install them, and I talked with Keith today, and I told him we would have to make it to where they would be permanent instead of just sitting on the ground, just to make sure that they're secure there. So we're gonna work on that together, but that should not be a problem.
What about the exercise equipment that was in the plan? You say you have exercise equipment.
The exercise equipment was crossed out, and we added the musical equipment and the dog park. So exercise equipment was gone a long time ago.
We did as a group.
And that
The
was
dog
where,
park was already originally on there, that wasn't added, that was already on the original plan.
We pulled the exercise.
We pulled the
equipment.
exercise equipment because of cost.
but that was at Cisco.
Right.
I'll give you $475 for one bench, so you already got that.
Okay.
What is the durability of these benches as far as the finish on them?
They are metal benches, and he's made them where they can bolt together so they can be powder coated. They'll last a long time.
Okay. Well.
That's just two different
They
examples
need
right
some
there.
place to see it, so.
Right, that's just two different examples right there. I know you two guys down here on this end don't particularly like one of them, but I know Mr. Etheridge does, so.
You got change.
But that was the examples that was given to me. I did not ask for those, so.
And I need something with, pad in it,
A pad.
I mean, you ain't feeling it, so.
Oh, no, we'll get you one you can tote around, Miss Reed.
Okay, y'all ready to vote?
So we're gonna add, to this pricing, or we're gonna add 4 benches for the pool?
Technically, if Judge Millen is purchasing one, we would not have to change this. We could keep it the same and add one of them for the pool, I believe. I don't
Well,
know
you
if that-
saying 4 for,
I
this
don't
is
know how many
saying
you
4
can put in the
for,
pool.
I know right now they have a lot of chairs at the pool.
that's what this is saying.
I don't know
That's a
if these
picnic
benches would
We have
be
8 chairs.
ideal for the pool area. We may can look and find something specifically for the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say it again?
I said, I don't know if those, I know they got a lot of chairs around the pool right now. What we may want to add at the pool is some more
But see,
lounge chairs.
But
or
those on
something
the
along those
inside for people that's going in to swim, right?
lines. Yes, ma'am.
Are parents allowed inside just to sit around?
Yes,
or-
ma'am.
Yeah.
They have to pay the dollar, they have to pay the money.
They pay the dollar to get into?
Yeah.
I'm not real sure about as far as how that goes.
I had to pay.
Now, I know we discussed at one point in time about doing the grass area out
Right, see, that's what I
outside.
was
Is that where you're
discussing
talking?
earlier about.
Yeah,
benches
I was
outside.
misunderstanding, yeah, so that was it, yeah.
But see, I don't see no point when we require the parents to be with those kids. They got to be on the inside, so, I mean,
But all parents don't,
yeah,
I
but I
don't show
mean.
up at the pool just wanna sit around, that don't mean I wanna go inside the pool.
Yeah,
Talking about creating a picnic area outside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
We got the room, and that hadn't been discussed,
Yeah,
but that
inside
hadn't
the
been,
parking lot.
that had been discussed, but that hadn't been put on paper yet, but I'd be glad to do that. Rhonda Brown has also volunteered to do some plant work out there too, so
Right.
put some plants in.
So are we gonna add a couple of benches for the pool or what?
Well, Judge Miller's gonna get one. Which one you can get, Judge Miller?
I just paid for one. That,
Take one.
we need to get 7, or we don't need to get 9 or 10. But I mean, I'll pay.
Well, I've got on here 8 benches, that's what I quoted out, but they are $475 a piece, so all we got to do, you're gonna do that.
We just add 2 more.
Add 2 more.
Just add 2 more.
2 more.
Well, I think we need to add 2 more, and I think we need to add 1 picnic table for the pool.
Okay. Left my phone back there, I can't do the math.
What you need?
You want 2 benches and 1 picnic table, is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Total now is $12,357.39.
Tax for
Yeah,
That does not include tax.
Well, you get, what did you had 2 benches, or you had 2 benches?
2 benches, 1 picnic table,
Minus 475.
minus $475.
Kennedy said he'll pay for one, memory of his daughter.
Mr. Gaines said he'll pay for one of them his daughter, okay?
Okay, so that's 8. So that's 8, and they'll pay for, that's 10. So there's your 2 benches right there.
So it won't be 12.
Right, so it'll be 8. It will still be, the city will still pay for 8 benches, and we'll get 2 more. And then
And then we just add 1 picnic table.
we add 1 picnic table, which is $4,000, so you'll add,
Ms. Layton says she'll buy a bench too.
Who?
Ms. Layton says she'll buy one.
All right.
Okay.
well, that's
it
7.
then.
Anybody else?
What you mean,
Anybody
sir?
else?
Anybody else want a bench?
Yes, about one.
That's one of our bench.
That's 4, so we only got
We
15.
got 4.
Raise your hand.
Everybody for raise hand?
Kevin Edwards.
All right.
So are we budgeting on these promises, y'all?
Hey, we paid it to me.
Alright, so we got $475 for milling, $475 for,
Alex.
Ms. Latham, and then Mr. Etheridge, is that right?
Mr. Gainey.
Mr. Gaines.
Mr. Gainey too?
Yep.
You doing all this? You doing the
I got
numbers?
the names.
I got it.
Guys, 3 people, I mean,
That's 4.
So,
Mills, Edwards, Gainey,
and we need 5 picnic tables now, correct?
That's right.
Edwards, Gainey, Lincoln.
And see, we were to get 10, so we need 6. 6 we only want. Pay for 6.
We only pay them 6.
So the city is buying 4 benches, correct? No,
No.
6
6.
benches.
6.
6.
And 4 is being done.
Right.
We're buying 5
And
tables.
5.
And 5 tables.
Right.
thank you.
I'd like to motion that we approve the purchasing of 6 benches and 5 picnic tables and accepting of the gifts of the 4 from the honorable people in this room tonight.
Judge Mills, Kevin Edwards, Alex Gainey, Jamie Baker.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so
second.
much.
Was it 4 benches, right?
Yeah.
They're buying 4,
5.
we're buying 6 and 5 picnic tables, and lumber's on that too.
Correct.
I say,
Okay, so proper motion, we'll be for 6 benches, right? 5 picnic tables, and, the treated, 635, and then the, 4x4 treated for 1270, and got 4 good people.
Hallelujah.
Bye. 4 benches, okay? 75 people.
Thank y'all.
It's the, wait back.
Do we, that's what I was gonna say.
We-
All in
yes,
favor?
we did
Let
say-
it on side, aye.
Aye.
Ayes have the same right, motion
I
carried.
apologize, Mayor. It was brought to our attention tonight that we have to vote by roll call. So I guess the ordinance states is she pointed out to us. So the county council, when they vote, they usually start in the line and vote down the line. I don't know how we want to go about doing this, but it's the
Well,
law.
I'm just following protocol. They've been doing it for 19 years since I've been on council.
And we all make mistakes sometimes for 19 years, so I'll just start by saying,
So I say we research the ordinance and then we
That's
do
right.
that at the
Yes,
next
so
meeting,
yeah.
after we verify that's a fact.
That's right. All in favor, let them sign aye.
Aye.
Nays have the same right.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, you have your package, receiving information. Okay, council comments. I've been on council for 19 years, and since I've been on council, the ordinance states that, we put signs out 30 days before the election, and have to take them back in 7 days after the election. But, we discussed it, it was a discussion, but there was no vote on it. But it was determined that somebody was told they could put the sign. So Mr. Garland, I'll let you discuss that and tell, what it is. There was no vote, we didn't vote. I mean, the ordinance states that signs can be put out 30 days before the election. So now, the signs being out, everybody getting calls, everybody calling me, and council members are coming to me. So, what is it?
I defer to the attorney for a legal opinion on that.
Okay, until, the ordinance is enforceable right now. It would be whoever is challenging the ordinance to prove that it's unconstitutional. So right now it does remain valid and enforceable. Now, looking at Attorney General's opinion, also at a lot of precedent on this, more than likely it would be found to be a violation of the First Amendment. But as of right now, the ordinance as it is would be enforceable. Again, the person that was challenging it would have to bear the burden of showing that it's unconstitutional. But again, that's kind of where we are right now without having anything further. The ordinance probably needs to be revisited at some point. What they want to do is do the least restrictive means they can of trying to address that situation, and try not to impose on somebody's First Amendment rights. But as it sits right now, it would be enforceable. But down the road, somebody challenged it, I think they have an extremely good chance of finding that it's in violation of a person's First Amendment.
What about the private property rights?
Private property would even more so. If it's on someone's private property, I think a court, and again, from everything that we've looked at, would have a very hard time saying that it's not a violation. If somebody wants to put a sign on their property, I don't think a court would be they'd be reticent to tell them they couldn't do that. But this is all we have to go by right now, is the ordinance we have in place. And again, whoever challenged it would bear the burden of showing it's unconstitutional. But looking at what we've seen, I think that they would probably be successful.
There is no challenge at the
No,
time. But what it is, you're saying that signs can be put out now in a private citizen yard?
It probably. Mayor, that's the ordinance is in effect. So I mean,
Yeah, the ordinance
right
is in
now-
effect, it has not been changed.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So
So
the
right.
ordinance states 30 days before the election.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Just for clarity, nothing has been brought towards the towards the state Supreme Court, in relation to signs, political signs.
There's been a lot of cases. The only thing that we have to go by is this Attorney General opinion. There's been in other states.
But just specifically, the question is, has anything been brought to the Supreme Court?
Related to this particular topic.
No.
And not just completely on
So
board.
then technically our law is legal until challenged or some other county or city is
Sure.
challenged.
Sure.
That being said, it's pretty obvious that it is a, breach with the First Amendment, something we need to revisit, but technically the law is still in effect. But it's definitely something that.
Right
if
now,
it's
the
a-
law is valid in force.
Okay.
Well,
But
let me
the
ask
Attorney General has stated, specifically that if it was brought to the Supreme Court, that it probably would be struck down. Thus, we probably should address the issue. And then I have one other subject to bring up as far as council comments.
Can I address this
Yeah, we
before?
show you this one.
That's,
If I'm not mistaken, this conversation came up because of a sign you had in somebody's yard, Mace.
That
And
was the challenge.
and someone challenged that, and that sign was, said it was taken out of that person's yard. Nobody talked about any First Amendment or anything like that, doing that challenge. I don't know who challenged it, but nobody talked about our ordinance. So all of a sudden, now our ordinance might be infringing on somebody's First Amendment's right. And
But more
when
than
I-
likely, it would. But again, nobody's brought this to a court yet. So, all we have to go by is the Attorney General opinion that says if it was brought, their belief is that it would be that. And as of right now, it's valid enforcement of the ordinance we have.
So, my concern is, if our city ordinance says that signs doesn't go out until 30 days before the election, even with right, you can't put signs in right away anyway, whether it's 30 days or 6 months out. When I ran 4 years ago, that's what I was told. 4 years ago, nobody put signs out until 30 days before the election. Now somebody has to put a sign in their personal yard, it gets challenged. Someone go take the sign out the person's yard, now all of a sudden somebody else can take their signs and put it all through the city. There's some inconsistency somewhere in all of this. Now we're looking at somebody's First Amendment right. But that was never looked at before her sign was told to take out somebody, be taken out the yard. So it seems that there's some inconsistency as we talk about this ordinance and being infringed on somebody's First Amendment rights. So it's almost like we changing something to suit certain people, for lack of a better word or conversation.
So, okay, Kevin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm going to go back to you. According to our ordinance, it is 30 days. It didn't matter whether it was in
Somebody's yard.
anybody's yard or in the right of way. Political signs were not supposed to be displayed for 30 days. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
As Brian just pointed out, we have been brought to go by this one, roll call on this. If that is what if we are gonna start going by the ordinance, then it's started. I mean, we can't pick and choose which ones we wanna do. If that's the case, I was all for, which everybody know, if it's in your yard, fine, I wasn't, I supported it and that. But if we are going to follow the rule on one, let's follow the rule on the other. If we're gonna follow this one, then we follow the other. And both of them it says 30 days, no, 30 days, it just says it doesn't specifically say where. Darlington's ordinance said we should not display them in 30 days. So let's follow it. If we're gonna follow the rest of them.
Exactly. And on top of that,
Let's move on from that.
The problem is some ordinances are clearly, according to Kevin, unconstitutional. And other ordinances are not.
Yeah, but
So we want to follow an ordinance that will probably be declared to be unconstitutional.
What we are doing now, and I know, is simply, this is it, and according to our legal advisor here, this is we in our legal rights to do it.
I don't know, that's what he said.
Oh, he's not.
he said a whole lot of stuff, I didn't know what he was
That's
saying.
what
It wasn't even clear.
What he said was
It wasn't even
there
clear
is-
what he said, he talked around a whole lot of stuff.
There is an ordinance. that is
4
not-
years ago, according to Kevin,
Yeah.
you infringed on my constitutional rights.
I
4
haven't
years
infringed
ago.
on anybody's.
No, I'm just saying, based on all that stuff that he just
But
said, it
nobody
didn't make a whole lot of
challenged
sense.
it, nobody made an issue out of it. We can comply with our ordinance if we choose to. If somebody challenges it, it's quite likely it will be found unconstitutional according to the research Kevin has. So the question is if you know that it's going to likely be declared unconstitutional, just be aware that it's subject to being challenged and that you're subject to having to spend city money in connection with that challenge, because I don't know that this is the kind of thing that would be covered by the insurance reserve fund as far as
Well, I don't
Hey.
understand
That's
that.
a
The thing is,
motel.
I have no problem with, anybody's signs being out now. But I'm saying we need to make sure we're being consistent
With
across the board and not pick and choose and nitpick. Because I think the first sign that went out prior to 30 days was Mayor Hines' sign.
it ought to go back
Right,
up.
so her need to go back in the yard, so I said, I don't have a problem with it. But now, according to me, I'm gonna wait, put my sign on 30 days prior to the election. I have no problem with anybody's signs being back, but we need to make sure we're being consistent across the board as mayor and council when it comes to somebody's signs.
Sure. Put 'em
So
up
even if
for
somebody
that.
call me, put this sign down, I ain't put my sign in anybody's yard.
But Kevin, did that make sense though? I mean, I didn't mean to
I don't know what you
say.
said, Kevin, no.
What I'm saying is,
what
right now,
I'm getting at.
right now, that ordinance is valid and enforceable. If somebody chose to challenge it later on, it might be unconstitutional.
That's what he said, it's valid, it's legal.
Yeah, so it was challenged.
It may not be legal, but until it is challenged and declared by a court to be
Okay,
illegal,
all right. So
the
that,
presumption may or may not exist with respect to this particular ordinance. Obviously, with the discussions we're having, we need to visit it at some point in
Exactly.
time and try to get
Well,
things
at this
straight.
point in time, we need to stick to our ordinance and enforce the ordinance.
but see, if
Until we
I,
get to the point where it's challenged. And the ordinance also says you can only put one sign per yard. The ordinance also says that.
and,
There's places where there's 2 or 3 signs in a yard, or 2 signs in a yard.
Just be
So
aware
we're
we
not
may be
following our
getting ready to
ordinance
spend
the
money.
way we
Okay.
should follow our ordinance.
but if we follow that line of thinking, that every ordinance we got, that we
All
challenge,
of them
that
can
we
be
can,
challenged.
we
Let's put the
be,
sign.
Not every ordinance is subject to challenge. Not every ordinance has First Amendment.
It's amazing how y'all bend so far to bend the rules.
Yeah.
I'm not bending
Gee
anything. The
whiz.
Constitution requires what we
Okay,
We
but-
didn't put our signs out, Councilwoman.
I mean, I don't
We
think,
did not put our
but
signs
just know
out.
you're getting ready to spend money.
We said
Why? Because
we
what?
bend the rules.
Because you know somebody.
That we-
But I just want you to be prepared.
Okay.
Can we table this to as a proper agenda item and we can revisit
Let's
it?
not try to, this is a gap,
There's
right?
nothing on the agenda for a vote tonight.
It's a
Just
gap.
Could I,
comment.
We'll visit this at another time, just want to get that part out. Still is some instances in the city. So anyway, reminders, August 6th.
Madam Mayor,
County executive session.
just to muddy the waters a little bit more, we have another ordinance that, was brought to my attention that we haven't been following. It's the ordinance with relation to, writing new ordinances. When it comes to writing ordinances in the city of Darlington, you're supposed to have a sponsor listed beside that ordinance that is presented. So anytime we have an agenda item, for instance, park benches, it should have Councilman Gardner, for instance, as the sponsor and co-sponsors. I'd just like to ask that whenever we're writing future ordinances, that we follow the appropriate protocol that the city has outlined, and that's it. Thank y'all.
Thank you. Okay, reminders, August the
Glad
6th,
everybody was following.
2019, 6:30 regular public hearing.
I'm glad that,
Oh, the city county supper is, July 29th. And let Mr. Governor know whether you'll be attending. It's conducted by the county. They don't know where yet, but it is conducted. Also, advocacy meeting, one is in Lake City, that's close to the other was where?
Sumter.
Sumter, it is, what day is that, Mr.
I
Governor?
believe it's August 27th and 28th. You should have a handout in front of
You
you.
have a handout. Let Mr. Governor know whether you'll be attending or not.
What's the number?
It's August 27th.
What is it?
It's the regional advocacy meeting.
It's one in, Lake City and one
It's Sumter.
in Sumter. The closest one, but I mean, you can go either one you want to go to, just reach for that one. Okay, can I get a motion? We had executive session, a contract for Gandhi Pools. The city may not vote after the executive session. May I get, a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion that we go into executive session. The city of Darlington may or may not vote after the executive session.
I second it.
Okay, it's, been properly motion second, we go into executive session. All in favor, let it sign aye. Aye. Aye, nays have the same right.